Emily, have you heard from anybody that can't make it?
Kurt is not able to make it. He's got a utility meeting tonight.
Okay. That's all we heard from. So Mary Claire, Pat.
Mary Claire's on there.
We have Mary Claire.
Oh, we got 4 then. Okay.
I didn't see her.
Has anyone heard from Pat?
That's who I saw down on the bottom.
Who's in the lower right there?
He's coming on.
Okay.
Dwayne Brown.
Okay.
Who is that?
Dwayne Brown.
Oh.
All right. So I will call the Plan Commission meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
I will move.
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on a home occupation license for 725 8th Street to operate a hair salon. Lori Shooty? Shooty? Don't want to. Shooty? I don't want to get that wrong. I hate doing that. All right, Tiffany?
Yeah, so the applicant has submitted a home occupation license to operate a one-chair hair salon out of her home at 725 8th Street. Home occupation permits typically allow for an occupant of the property to conduct limited business activities in the home, such as professional offices, studios, teaching spaces, of that sort. Therefore, the applicant's proposed business operation will include hours between 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. She will be the only employee on site, and only one client will be seen at a time. But there may be about 2 clients parking at a given time just because of coming and going sort of traffic. Some internal work will also need to be done, potentially to hook up a hair salon sink in the house. Additionally, some carpet removals anticipated and potentially some vinyl infrastructure, but those are details that don't really need to be talked about here. Anyway, guests are anticipated to park on Elm Street, but the potential installation of a parking pad on the property was discussed over a phone call with staff as well, given that there is a curb cut that does exist at the property. Letters of notice were sent to adjacent properties, requesting signatures of the neighbors on whether they approved or denied the home occupation use at the proposed property. These letters were received by staff and included both no concerns from neighbors as well as concerns associated with potential traffic generation, 8th Street parking issues, property value changes potentially, and like changes to the neighborhood's proposed character from residential to commercial. Community development did want to highlight, though, that there are records all the way back from 1994 to the present day that include 8 approved home occupation permits for beauty salon, massage uses, and 1 denied application. With that, if Lori has anything else she'd like to add, she's more than welcome to. Otherwise, if any questions are...
I have one question.
Fred?
Yeah.
Was there any signage requests? Any signage requests for signs or anything like that?
It wasn't included in the application, but there is the potential if she wants to add a sign, she could, but there are restrictions to the size that can be applied for.
So that's not the issue today.
No.
Is this a conditional use permit for the use of this?
Certificate of compliance.
Certificate of compliance?
Yep.
We do have the applicant here if anybody has any questions for her.
Pretty low impact to me. I mean, other than, you know, I guess what I've always thought we did, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we always put a 1-year subject to review on any new business just to see if it was ruffling any feathers with anybody. And beyond that, we just then extended it for, but I don't know if you even need to do that on this, do you?
Fred, I'll speak to that. So typically, the home occupational permits, the section of code allows for staff to approve it if there are no concerns from the neighboring residents.
Okay.
So typically, the home occupations, if there's no concerns by the neighboring residents, staff approves it, they can begin operation. In this case, staff did receive some comments, so we are bringing it to Planning Commission. So I'm not sure, if that gives you any background maybe about how the home occupation process is, typically handled. In this case, we had a mix of, no comments from neighbors, as well as a few concerns about traffic and the neighborhood.
Did she say they recommend?
I just don't want the city to appear as non-responsive as if there are any issues that should come up, should we grant this. That's why I thought maybe there should be a review, but, you know, I guess maybe staff can handle it. I don't know how, that's why I say, how does this work? So, don't want it to appear that we don't care. We do care.
Tiffany, is there a recommendation?
Oh, is there an opportunity for neighbors to ask questions, or is this is Susie Fallon with my dad Dwayne?
No, that's, hang on one second, if you
Or
would,
is this
please.
just gonna get rubber stamped like that? I mean, I'm not sure why we were invited if there's not an opportunity for us to like ask questions.
Let me answer the question first, okay? But first, I had a question for Tiffany. Tiffany, is there a recommendation?
Staff was recommending approval, but being that there are residents here, it'd be good to get some feedback from them.
All right. All right, so the people the woman that just spoke, and is it Dwayne Brown? Is that right?
Yes, that's my daughter,
Okay.
Suzanne.
And if you would, once again, identify yourself and with your address, please.
I am Dwayne Brown, and this is my daughter Susie Fallon. And my address is 726 8th Street,
Okay,
right across the street
okay.
from there. And signs and parking. Certainly change the neighborhood or the gist of the neighborhood considerably. I consider this it's not desirable as far as I'm concerned. I believe it will affect my property value, resale value immensely. I would have never considered purchasing this residence had there been a business in the area that close. And I've spoken to other people there. They feel similar to me. But it feels like you're just going to rubber stamp this. And it is a slippery slope as far as I'm concerned. It's business is business, and people in business don't turn away business. And I just don't see where this in the long haul is good for the neighborhood. The assessments just got raised. Mine went up over 90% in the last assessment from the previous assessment. So I've got quite a bit to lose, and I don't see any advantage for me at all. And it seems like it's just for the person who wants to put a business in there. And I would, and you don't go looking for a house in a business district. I don't know if I'm clear in all that, but I hope I am. And I would think that the council would be responsive to that sort of thing.
So, Mr. Brown, are you concerned about traffic?
Yes.
And I know we haven't discussed signage, but potential signage?
Signs, that would be even worse. That'd be just as bad or worse. I can't emphasize enough to think that it would be a good thing.
So this is his daughter, Susie Fallon. I don't know if have you ever been to 8th and Elm Street? Literally no one drives on 8th. No one goes there because it's so quiet. It's kind of a forgotten little, lovely little nook of downtown Hudson. And it's precisely why we chose it. Because there's really no reason to drive on 8th and Elm. Everyone drives on 7th and Orange and 9th, and you know what I mean? It's just, there's not even, I think the other thing, there's not even a stop sign or a yield sign at 8th and Elm, because no one drives there. So, I mean, it just, to me, it's concerning because I think it will change the nature of that little neighborhood. And yeah, when I just heard a sign, it's like just concerns about that, and just concerns that, you know, it's one chair now, but like, what's to stop another chair? And it, I mean, I don't really know. This is what I'm curious to know, you know, who's going to monitor that? Like, how do we know it's going to be just one chair and one person every once in a while? But, you know, the hours of operation even were concerning to me. 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's not even like what you would consider normal business hours. So that really means, you know, traffic for quite a bit of time. And obviously my dad doesn't have children, but you know, there are children in the neighborhood. That seems like a lot of traffic. So,
Right next door.
so I just have concerns about who's going to monitor, assuming this is approved, like who's going to monitor and make sure that it's not doesn't turn into a blown salon. So just our 2 cents on that. Nothing against the homeowner. I respect her wishes, her desires, but it just seems to me that maybe should have thought about, if she moved to Hudson knowing she wanted to open a salon, which is what she said in her letter, that maybe she should have looked for a home that was closer to the commercial district.
We do have quite a bit of, I mean, people walk, that's what people like about that neighborhood. They can walk around, they can walk their dogs, and there's not a lot of traffic, and that's why people move there.
Does the applicant want to address any of that for us? If you could come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Sorry, but I don't know what you're doing.
It's okay, Fred.
My name is Lori Schutte. My address is 725 8th Street. I am wishing to work from my home because I'm close to retirement age, and I do not want to be working in a salon with other employees. I want to work by myself, for myself, alone. I will never have an employee. That's the whole reason. I will never have another employee. I have one chair. I do one client at a time, by appointment only. So the only time there would ever be more than one car is if somebody's leaving and somebody's coming. I'm 2 houses off of Vine Street, so there's not going to be any through traffic whatsoever.
How many clients do you have a day, and is it 7 days a week?
No, it's only 2 to 3 days a week. So,
20 a day.
well, I do a 1 hour or a 2 hour slot, so 4 to 5 clients a day, 6 at the most.
So it's limited.
Oh, very limited. I can't stand for that long anymore. I'm available for those hours, but I don't have people in my chair those entire hours, so.
Anybody got any questions?
Did we receive, it looks like there might be another neighbor on the call here.
All right.
Hi, this is the neighbor at 722 A Street, Russ Robbie and Kelly Robbie. We've got 2 little kiddos. You know, we're somewhat concerned about parking and activity, especially from the hours of 5 to 9 when we would get home from work and want to get outside and, you know, have the kids kind of cruise around on bikes. The kids are, well, one's, he's not cruising yet, he's 7 months, and then the other one's 2.5 years old, so they're not really going to be watching for cars, so. Just a little bit concerned about parking. Obviously love the idea, don't want to be an entrepreneur and do that, but, you know, concerned about parking and potential traffic from 5 to 9. So, and then I guess the other thing is too, not saying this is I love business. I'm in business myself, but it is a quiet street. We really do like that about it. You know, the next step is there going to be more businesses that pop up? If this one gets accepted, do more get accepted and so forth? So I just don't know the trend of what Hudson wants to do for downtown and kids and school. Is this going to be a commercial area or is it going to be a residential area? That's it right now.
Well, it sounds like there's only gonna be like one car coming and going at a time.
That isn't what she said.
That is what I said.
That is what she said.
That's absolutely.
That is
I
what she said, one car.
I can only service one client at a time. And I don't take walk-ins and I don't sell retail, so. And I won't have any signage. My homeowner's insurance doesn't allow signage with the business anyway. I don't need signage because I have a clientele base already. I'm not taking new clients at all, so.
Thank you.
What days of the week again?
Typically, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I may have.
What hours?
Excuse me?
Yes.
What were the hours?
Oh, I'm available from 10 in the morning until 9 at night, but I'm not booked solid all of those hours. So I may service a client on a Saturday that isn't able to come in on the weekday. If it's better for them to park in my driveway, which is literally 2 houses off of Vine Street, there will not be any through traffic whatsoever. So I can accommodate that.
Are you already seeing clients in your home?
No, I'm not. No, I moved in, I closed on the 24th, and that was on a Tuesday, and Sunday my sewer backed up. So I have to replace the sewer main. Yeah, no, and I'm not ready to service clients yet anyway, so I want to be all moved in and have everything set up. It does have a separate entrance, which is by law for a Wisconsin salon. Has to have a separate entrance and its own bathroom. So there's water available and a separate closet that's not in the bathroom for storage of the colors and perms and stuff. So it's the perfect location, the perfect little setup, but.
Anybody else? Was there another neighbor or somebody else that wanted to comment? Yes, sir. Unmute, please. Unmute.
Sorry about that. Yes, Christopher Mick, 802 8th Street. I'm on the corner of 8th and Elm.
Okay.
Just kind of siding with some of the other concerns that have already been listed, but I have a kid as well. And I think it's been noted there's no yield or stop sign at the 8th and Elm intersection. And we have kids all kind of down that block going toward 7th Street on Elm. So they're doing remote control cars, a lot of people coming through walking dogs and that, kind of expecting a quiet street. So just some of the concerns that have been shared by others. And then I guess I had a question on precedent. If this business, does that set up potentiality for other businesses applying for the same kind of permit on the block or in the area?
Okay.
I could kind of speak to the potentiality thing. Home occupation licenses can actually be applied for in any residential district. So it's not just, picking on the specific neighborhood, so to speak. It's, available everywhere. So I think the reason why Lori's coming forward to right now, so to speak, is because of COVID and the impact it's having on this social distancing measures and things like that. So
Sure, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is COVID, is that what you're, why you think it's okay? Because,
No, sir.
because of this crisis? This crisis will be over and she still will be there.
Oh, anyway, I can speak.
No, it's about the fact, it's about the fact that I want.
Darn phones, right? Darn phones. I don't really think COVID is really, that, it is what it is right now, but I'm not really sure that that's really, really to, I mean, I read her letter and I'm sure Lori's very, like, sounds like she's very conscientious and that's awesome, but it's not, I mean, this certificate of compliance or home occupancy is kind of these both words, both terms. It seems like that COVID really is not really relevant. I mean, this would be, whether we were in a pandemic or not, she wants to run a salon from her home, right? I mean, so when the pandemic's over, it's not like she's gonna go and work in a salon. She wants to have her home business, right? I mean, am I wrong about that?
No, you're right.
So, I mean, I just don't think COVID is even relevant, honestly. I mean, it's relevant, of course, but it's like on this real issue, it's not really about COVID. It's about Lori wanting to run a home business, right?
Correct.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Comment on that, Lori?
So again, the days were 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? No.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And Saturday, she said.
An occasional Saturday if somebody needs to come in on a Saturday.
And you feel you have a separate entrance and ample parking in your driveway?
Yes, there's also a parking pad because the addition where the salon will be was a garage at one time. So there is a curb cut out, and I checked with the city and there's no utilities buried underneath. So if it was a concern, I could certainly put a parking pad there. So my client would be parking in my yard and not on the street whatsoever.
No, not yet.
I've done hair for 34 years, 35 now, and I've stood for 12 hours a day for many, many years. I want to be able to work from home and lessen my hours, and this isn't about COVID. It just happens to be COVID is going on right now.
I could think of a lot worse things that happen, so I will move that we approve the conditional use permit and to come back in 6 months for us to ask the question.
I'll second that.
All right, everybody understand that? So there's a motion and a second to approve with a 6-month review?
Yeah, and with the neighbors invited.
Right, okay, everybody, all the neighbors understand that, so there'd be a 6-month review on this, and you can come back and, if this passes, you would be invited back after 6 months to talk about any adverse circumstances that you may have experienced.
Could I please make a comment?
Sure.
I guess I have a concern with regard to expansion, as we've had some concerns in the past about expansion of the downtown into the residential area, which is what I believe this is. Well, I am opposed to it.
Okay. Well, Tiffany, could you repeat that, your statement again? So home occupational permits are what?
Those are what I said before. Home occupation licenses are, shoot, what was it I said?
What?
Allowed everywhere.
They could be in any neighborhood?
Oh, yeah, they can be in any residential neighborhood. It's not just applied to R1 and R2, it's all of them.
Well, that might be true, Tiffany, but the thing is, what's the plan? I mean, that's the issue to me, is that it's really not about this one person asking to have, to get a certificate of compliance. It's really about what's the plan, I mean, and what's going to be the trend, because I don't think anyone really is against Lori and wanting to have a business, I mean, in her home. That's not really the issue. And the issue really is this, are we going to start to see an expansion of the commercial zone into residential neighborhoods? Because 8th and Elm is actually quite a few blocks off of the commercial, I guess the core commercial zone. So are we going to start pushing that back? And is that the plan? Is that what we're looking for?
If I could comment on that. First and foremost, this isn't a rezoning. We're not changing the residential main use of it. She'll be living there, but she'll be doing a business there. That being said, the direction of how the downtown expands is actually something that we're working on, talking to the community more about in the upcoming comprehensive plan development. So you guys are more than welcome to provide opinions on that. We actually have a web tool online for you to go on and provide feedback on that. So if you want to go on and say, don't expand downtown overlay district, that's your right. You can go in and do that.
So every time you issue one of these certificates, it actually becomes evidence towards actually expanding that zone. So it is.
No, not necessarily. I don't think
Okay,
that's
well,
the case.
I'm not here to argue that, but I just do think it's, it does become somewhat of a slippery slope, and what wasn't addressed is just what is the plan? I mean, I guess, all the neighbors asked, that is the main concern, I think, of all the neighbors is the traffic and the changing of the nature of the neighborhood. And I don't know how is that 6 months? How is that going to really, how are you going to have enough information to actually even address that? So I didn't really hear that even.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, just 1 second, Pat.
Okay.
We're talking about, right now, we're talking about 6 months and if we come back and you think there's not enough information, we can do it 6 months after that again, too. And we do that frequently, where we have people coming in, we do a review annually, and we've had people coming in 2-3 years in a row for their review, and the neighbors come in and talk to us. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, I was going to say, first question was, if I heard correctly, is that there's going to be no signage
No signage.
on the building to indicate that it is anything other than a residence, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the amount of traffic that it may or may not generate, how is that any different than a neighborhood child turning 16 and getting a driver's license?
Right.
You're going to get more traffic with that. I don't see where we need to go 6 months. I would go a year, see how it goes, and if there's a problem, address it there. But I don't think in 6 months we're going to know.
I'd like to comment, I've been on this planning commission for a lot of years, and the requests for this type of situation are very few and very far between. If that were to accelerate, as I think there's some concern, in the crowd here, I'm sure the city would say, hey, whoa, wait a minute, we need to do something different here. But again, you're talking the bed and breakfast, you're talking, all these other type of places that are kind of doing the same thing.
Airbnbs?
Yeah. And so, there's, as far as we've been able to determine, and from the reaction we received, there's little or no impact with no terribly adverse effects. And if there are, we review it and we do something about it if we have to. And so I guess that's what we're trying to say here is that, hey, we hear you and we'll review it. And if something is going on that's not right, please bring it to our attention 6 months from now.
That was my point. Thanks, Fred, for
Right.
clarifying that.
I don't think I would go with a year, though. I would go with 6 months if I do support this.
Whatever.
I'm still thinking, but
That's the motion.
That's the motion.
May I suggest 6 months from when she starts operating, like when Lori gets her sink and everything installed? That would be maybe a good time in case she needs about, some time to get set up.
That's
and then
fine.
Maybe 6 months from the time she starts operating.
Yep.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right, everybody good?
Yep.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion's approved. Thank you all. Next up, discussion and possible action on a downtown design review certificate for 511 2nd Street. Physical therapy.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question on this one.
Yes.
It looks like the sign is already up.
What?
Yeah, it is actually. She unfortunately didn't realize that there's a process to be done through all of this first, so if it does happen that you do not approve of this tonight, she will be required to take the sign down. But just, yeah.
How was it not clear that there's a process?
She didn't realize until last minute, so.
I mean, was there something that we didn't tell her, or I'm just trying to understand how she, I mean, if she applies for it, how did that happen?
I think it's just misunderstanding through communication was all it was. So, can't really be helped, unfortunately.
Well, it's not like it's a big bright neon light. I mean, I understand their process to go through, but it was probably an undersight on her part, or oversight, so I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed?
one comment if I may make on this.
You just, may I announce first that
I'm sorry,
the motion passed?
excuse me,
The motion is approved. Go ahead, Fred.
sorry, I apologize.
No problem.
I just also want to make it clear to city staff that they are spelling out to people that you know, let them know that they cannot erect and do things like that prematurely. I mean, miscommunication, all that. I think we have to tell them, here's how it works, and don't do it until you get approval. And I hope you're conveying that to these people, otherwise we're put in this awkward position.
Yeah.
So I'm insisting that that be done going forward to make sure you're doing it.
Make her take it down for a month.
No. No,
And put it back up.
Yep.
no, but let's fix the miscommunication.
All right, I guess tidy up here a little bit, housekeeping. Mary Claire, on that first item, did you vote no on that?
I did.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. All right, thank you. All right, anybody else, future agenda items, any comments? I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I hope that you guys have some semblance of a Christmas holiday and are able to spend some time with your families, however you are able to do that.
Rich, there was a agenda item under the future communications, just that there's the proposed 2021 Plan Commission dates.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We tried to avoid as many library board meetings, utility commission meetings, which did lead to kind of a reduction in the number of meetings we have in the year. So if you have any issues with them, please feel free to reach out to staff and let us know if there's any major issues with the proposed dates.
Okay, thanks, Emily, appreciate that.
Yep.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved, we stand adjourned. Go Irish.
Good job with the closing times, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thanks, Pat.